communities, and you don't really see that many, and it's almost like they're not as inviting to the women.
Yeah.
Um, but I definitely feel like Tarkov is way more inviting when it comes to women streamers and gamers.
Yeah.
Um, but like for me, I didn't know how inviting it was. So whenever I met Sigma, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And like Sigma was the one that like took me under her wing and like
Yeah.
told like helped me with everything. So I thought that was really cool that the women were all supportive of each other, because it's
Yeah.
not like that in other communities really.
Hey, she's a beauty.
Gingy, welcome to this special Tarducks episode on BSG's channel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you for BSG for inviting us. So, what for those who've never seen a Tarducks podcast, what it is, it's a podcast for content creators to come share their experiences, stories, and advice. And today I have Gingy. And Gingy, what we normally do is we start the pod off with 3 random questions just to get things rolling. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So, what was for Christmas dinner?
Christmas dinner, well, stuffing, ham, and like it was some type of corn, creamed corn.
Yeah.
But there's other things I just not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
like
now,
stuffing and creamed corn.
where I'm from in Newfoundland, our stuffing, or we call it dressing, is like a really moist it's a moist
Yeah.
stuffing or dressing. What do you guys what's your
That's what we make in our family.
Okay,
But I don't
cool.
know if it's just because like it was like a thing in our family like generations or
Yeah,
something. So,
okay.
yeah.
Alright, so second question, what was your last Tarkov raid, and what was the outcome?
My last Tarkov raid. Okay. So I was trying to get a quest done that I had been talking to Pestily about. We spent like I don't know, it was like some crazy like 8 or 9 hours trying to figure out this one quest, and we were like messaging each other back and forth about it. And I still haven't done it because for some reason, ever since we figured out what we need to do, I've been running into players nonstop.
Oh,
I'll just
no.
be, like, running through, like, 5 people, and then the raid is, like, almost over. I'm like, "What? I can't. I've been in all these firefights. I haven't even been able to get it done." So, that was the outcome. I still have not been able to do that, and I've been trying for 3 raids.
Yep,
Well, last stream was 3
wow.
raids I was trying to go and do it since we figured it out, and yeah, pretty much got nothing done but killed people.
Alright, well, that's okay, at least you're surviving, right?
Yeah, true, true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Alright, last question, what was the last TV show or movie you watched?
Uh, I'm sorry, wait, do streamers watch TV?
Oh, yeah, sometimes.
Okay, I'm kidding. Um, um, I don't know.
I know. Well
I stream so much that I can't even remember what I last watched.
and I guess you add in wipe, so you've
Okay,
probably
wait,
oh,
I remember. The last thing I actually, like, watched, like, sat down and watched, it's been a while, The Witcher.
okay.
That's a good show.
All right. So now we're warmed up. Let's roll into it. So before you first hit that go live button, what's your background? What did you do?
So I don't know if I should get into all of the emotional details.
That's
I
okay.
can, it doesn't matter. I don't know if people wanna hear that stuff, but, before streaming, I managed different companies. Um, Things happened. I went through a really hard time in my life, and
Yeah.
I went through some major depression that I didn't wanna get out of bed, which sometimes that happens in life, and I literally would lay in bed and just watch people stream video games
Yeah.
because that was, like, my escape, And so one day I was watching my friend American Dad and he was playing Tarkov. I was like, "Whoa, this looks so cool." This was like 4 years ago.
Yeah,
And I was like, "Man, this game looks so cool because like I play Call of Duty and I think this would be such more fun because it's so more like just all technical with everything."
yeah,
And so I asked him about it and then I was like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't because I don't have a PC because I was a
yeah,
console gamer." And then I saw Lupo playing it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, now Lupo's playing it, so now I really wanna play it." And so then I was talking to my dad, I was like, "Dad, I know I don't have a job right now, but there's this game called Escape from Tarkov, and I wanna play it, but I also wanna start streaming it because I've always wanted to start streaming." And my dad was like, I don't know, there's not really anything behind streaming."
yeah.
I was I was like, "Please, like, can it be my Christmas present or something, like, early?" So, um, on Black Friday, I found a PC and I was like, "Dad, this PC is only like $600. Could I somehow, like, get it and I'll even, like, do little things to where, like, I pay you back money or something?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Okay, okay." So we bought the $600 PC and then I started streaming, um, just because of things that happened. I got the PC in, like, December and then I started streaming in March.
Yeah.
And, that's where it came from. I just
Oh,
started
wow.
playing Tarkov, and yeah,
Tarkov was the
just
first game
started
you
there.
streamed too?
It was my first PC game.
Yeah, holy
Yeah,
cow. That's
it just
wild.
started there.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
And so, let's go back. So you said you were a console gamer. When did games start for you? When you were a lot younger, or did you
Oh,
discover
I was really young.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I would probably started playing around, like, 5 or 6,
Oh,
like,
shoot.
really, really young. Yeah, really young, so
And now
I've
what
always
were the
been a
first
gamer.
consoles?
A Nintendo 64.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so that was fun. My favorite game probably of all times is still the Nintendo 64, it's Mario Party.
Yeah.
That was I don't know, something about Mario Party back then, it was just a blast.
Nice. And now
Yeah.
over the years, so you graduated to, I'm assuming PlayStation or an Xbox to jump into the first person shooters?
Yeah, so, it's funny because I went from the Nintendo 64 and then I went to Game Boy. I got
Oh,
a Game
okay.
Boy, and then my best friend bought me, like it was a Game Boy Advance SP or whatever, the one that flips, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is the coolest thing ever." And so then I went from that to an Xbox. I was like, "Xbox, great, it's the best thing." And then my friends were like, "No, you need a PS4, 2 or 3, I don't even know."
Yeah.
Because that's what they all games. So then I got that, I was like, "Oh, this is way better." And so then I went from PS4 to PC.
Yeah. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
And now what were some of your favorite games back on the console, like in the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox series?
My favorite, it would okay, so sorry. My favorite would have had to been probably, like, back then when Destiny 1 was a thing.
Yeah.
Destiny 1, it was just all around an amazing game, and then they decided to change things and make it Destiny 2, and it just was not the same. I didn't go
Yeah.
back to it. I was just like, "Whatever," because I had played since alpha of Destiny 1 until it ended. But then, like, even throughout all of that, like, I have played Call of Duty since the first game that ever came out.
Yeah.
But then I found Tarkov and I was like, "Oh, like, Call of Duty doesn't even interest me anymore, like, it doesn't compare
Right.
to anything."
Yeah.
Like,
No,
so now
that's so true.
I don't even, like, really anytime a new Call of Duty game comes on, I'm just like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah.
Like, it is just you know,
Yeah. And how
nothing
big of an
interesting.
adjustment was it jumping from console to PC? Because you've been using a controller for so many years, and now, you're
Yeah.
taking down probably the hardest game to learn with the steepest learning curve, add in a mouse and keyboard combo.
Yeah, it was really hard. So this is actually really funny. To get used to Tarkov, like playing on the keyboard, I actually got Minecraft.
Oh, okay.
And I played Minecraft, like, off stream to get, like, me used to using the keyboard and everything, and I think that's why until till this day, I still use as my interact button E
Yeah,
instead of F. I can't like, if there's a game that has F, I cannot do it. Like, there's just something about the movement because in Minecraft, you use E, you know?
yeah.
So, I have to change it every time, and it's pretty funny.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
now what made you jump into streaming? You said just you saw a couple of your friends stream it and you wanted to get
Mhm.
involved into it. What do you remember the first time you went live and you had people actually come into your stream where you're like, "Oh my god, what do I do? How do I act?"
You know, I remember, like, around that time when I first started streaming, I don't remember, like, the first day,
Yeah,
but I remember, like, the first week and just thinking 'cause like, people told me, "Oh, like, you're just gonna have, like, 1 viewer or, like, no viewers for a long time. You have to grow, you have to do this, you have to
yeah,
do that." And it wasn't like that for me. I just, like and I didn't know, like, what was going on because I was
yeah,
like, "Am I getting view botted? Like, how am I supposed to talk to people?" And it was so strange to have people in my stream because I was like I don't know, it's almost like you feel weird to talk to them because they're not, like, face to face.
yeah.
So sometimes, like this sounds so silly, but I'd be like, "I don't see that comment. Like, I'm not looking over there." You know, just because you're like, "Am I supposed to say something to that?" Like,
Yeah,
it's something you have to, like, get used to, and it's very strange at first, but
yeah.
you get used to it and then it becomes normal.
Nice. And now how about that first time you somebody raid you with that large group of, viewers, somebody's taking their party to your place now and you're going from X number to triple X.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for that?
I
Or
don't
can
think
you?
you can prepare for that. It the first time I got rated like that, it was very, overwhelming. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, what I was supposed to say, and I think the main problem, because I did this, when people get rated by, like, a big host, um, a big streamer host, whatever I'm trying to say,
Yeah,
I think the main problem is they stutter a lot over the words and they're, like, prolonging of, like, their gameplay.
yeah,
And a lot of times people wanna see gameplay, but they're just sitting there for, like, half an hour, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this."
yeah,
And it's like, "Hey, you should show them your gameplay so they know if they wanna stick around, like, if you, like, interact and stuff." I
yeah,
think that's, like, something that I struggled with when I would get rated by bigger streamers 'cause,
yeah,
I didn't know how to act. I think that's probably one thing I could give someone to
yeah.
not do, but
Okay,
yeah.
cool. And now, since you went live, what are some of the tougher things to deal with? Because people think, oh, playing video games on a stream is easy. It's just playing games, and there's just so much more than that. What's been some of the harder things for you?
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely seems like it's easy because it's just video games. Like you get to just chill out and some people just think it's just nothing, like it's not work, but it definitely is. Playing a video game and also looking at chat, that is some of the hardest thing to learn. Like
Yeah,
not ignoring chat while gaming is crazy.
yeah.
Um I don't know, like there's so many things.
Because you're sitting there for, from, 6 to 8, 13 or 14 hours at a time. Just,
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
not interacting with anybody from a face to face or talking standpoint.
yeah, I think the main thing I would say is probably it's very draining mentally.
Yeah,
And I know so, like, if you were to go out and work a job where you're, like, standing and walking, that's draining physically, normally,
yeah,
and sometimes, mentally a little bit here and there, but for some reason, streaming is extremely mentally draining, and I think that's why I sleep a lot now
yeah,
than before, um but I think that's probably the hardest thing is how mentally draining it is, and people don't realize that until they actually get into streaming like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah, so many people that have been on the pod talk about when they disconnect or sign off, they just need to lay down and just, not talk to anybody.
mhm. Yep.
And yeah, it is draining, and you need
That
to
is
be
literally
on.
what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause soon as you hit that go live button, you've gotta be on, you've gotta be happy because nobody wants to
Yeah.
watch somebody who's not, not happy.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I'm normally happy, but if I'm ever having an issue, I'm extremely like an honest person, just very open. And so if I'm having a rough day, I literally just tell my chat, hey, this is what I'm going through. So if I come off a different way, I'm so sorry. Let me know. Like it's not intentional, but this is like why I may act like this. This is why
Yeah,
I'm so tired, and they are so understanding. It's not like it's gonna really ruin the vibe because then they're like, oh, this is why.
yeah,
And I know some people aren't that open about things, but that's how I like to run my channel because I always want people to feel welcome to be open
nice.
about things that they're going through so we can also help them.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And now over the last few years, what's been some of the highlights since you first hit that go live button?
The highlights, just meeting all of the people that I get to meet that I've like looked up to or watched on streams. It's like kind of surreal that I'm like I'm friends with them now,
Yeah.
it's just so weird. Also getting like drops from BSG, like I mean, if it wasn't for drops for BSG that they gave me, I probably wouldn't hit some crazy goals of being like there was once, I think last drops, I was in the top 10 women streamers for 3 months
Oh,
because of
wow.
that.
Yep.
And that was a goal I would have never been able to hit without BSG.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a highlight of my career for sure.
Nice. And now,
Yeah.
speaking of women streamers, I came into this community a couple of years ago, and I was amazed on how many kick-ass lady streamers we have in the
Mhm.
Tarkov community,
Yeah.
Ammunition, Sigma, you, Nixia. There's so many
Mhm.
great, content creators out there that are women. It's
Yeah,
awesome. What's your take on it?
100%. I think it's awesome because I go to other communities and you don't really see that many, and it's almost like they're not as inviting to the women.
Yeah,
Um, but I definitely feel like Tarkov is way more inviting when it comes to women streamers and gamers.
yeah,
Um, but like for me, I didn't know how inviting it was. So whenever I met Sigma, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And like Sigma was the one that like took me under her wing and
yeah,
helped me with everything. So I thought that was really cool that the women were all supportive of each other, because it's
yeah,
not like that in other communities really.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, I've heard that from many of the lady streamers that who've, met Sigma, and Sigma, like you said, they took her under,
Mhm.
she took her under the wing. Yeah, we've got such a great community, I think, from that aspect of things.
Yeah. I learned Tarkov from Sigma.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool because I was mainly a solo gamer teaching myself Tarkov. And then I met Sigma and I'm like, dude, I need help. Like, can I play with you? So, and I didn't play in any teams. So she definitely had to get used to me TKing her because that happened a lot. But she grew to,
Yeah.
love me. So
Oh, that's
it was it
awesome.
was it was good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now something else I like to hear from people who come on the podcast is their Twitch partner story. How did you find out? What was your reaction? How many times did you apply? What is
mhm.
your partner story?
So my partner story is I I can't remember the date. I think it's in August. So I'm pretty sure it's in August. I started March 17th streaming. And then I mean after a few months I was like averaging like 6 to 800
Yeah,
and I had put an application in then and they were like, "Well, we just don't know if you're going to retain these viewers, so we
yeah.
don't want to give you a partnership yet." And so I felt really discouraged and I went to Sigma. I was like, "They didn't accept it. What do I do?" And she's like, "Don't worry about it. Always happens. Like just
Yeah.
reapply." And so then I replied second time. They didn't come back to me for like 8 weeks. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
did I not, like, get accepted? What's going on? And then out of nowhere, I had gotten off stream one day, and so, someone, like, asked me about it. Like, they messaged me, and I was like, "No, it's still not here." And then I went and checked my email, and it was in my email. I was just like, "Oh, okay." And it wasn't like I found out on stream or anything. It was
Yeah.
like I was going to bed type thing. So then I couldn't go to sleep because I was so excited.
Yeah. Oh my lord. That's so
Yeah.
cool. And now, if somebody's thinking about going live for the first time, what is some of the advice you would give them?
Advice is before you start stream, you have to record before and listen to your audio, because I always say the number one thing about a stream that is going to get people to stay is your audio, because if it's fuzzy, if the tone is like too high pitched and like making your mic go all crazy, people aren't gonna wanna stick around with that because it's gonna, like, annoy them or something,
Yeah.
you know? Um, I'm not necessarily like, you don't really, like, need a camera or anything, but cameras do help. People just like to see reactions. That's just
Yeah.
how human nature is. Um, but that would be something is 100% one first thing is audio.
Yeah.
Make sure your PC can handle like the bit rate and everything, because you can go live and you can look on your OBS and it looks fine to you, but what you see on your OBS is not what people are going to see live stream. So you have to test the bandwidth, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's probably the main things I would suggest for sure.
All right. Excellent. And now, how would you describe, somebody who's never watched you before? What are they in for a Gingy stream?
Um, I mean, I'm a very laid back, chill person, but I'm also the type of person that likes to be there for people. So like in my community, I always tell people, no matter what you're going through, if you need someone, I'm there for you. No
Yeah.
matter how big of a streamer I am, I will always be there. I'll talk to you, say something in chat. Like, I don't want to be that person that lets things get to their head once they become like a bigger streamer. I always want to be that genuine person that I was when I started, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where I tried to grow my community, and like that's what we are, you know, we're a family. I
Yeah.
want it to be a space where people can go, they're going through a hard time, this is where they can go and, you know, express like what they're going through or just chill out because that's their escape, you know?
Yeah.
That's my community.
That is the really cool thing about what I've, learned, meeting a lot of content creators like yourselves, is the communities that you guys have developed is pretty amazing. We have people who, they've developed friendships who down the road
Mhm.
they end up in like wedding parties or meeting them in IRL, and it's just
Yeah.
you end up with better friends that you have than you have in IRL, it seems.
Yeah, it is. It's true. I was not a popular kid growing up whatsoever. I was bullied a lot.
Hmm.
Um, had a really hard time in school. I dropped out of high school 3 times, but I did graduate finally.
Yeah.
Not recently, but like a long time ago. um, but I think that's also what's made me who I am today, just because I know like how it feels to, you know, be bullied and not have friends. Like I was the kid that even the kids that were not cool didn't even want to hang out with.
Oh
Like
no.
that's just I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
I was homeschooled, so I was kind of awkward, you know. I just needed to grow out of that, but I know how that feels, and so I always want to make sure like I'm treating everyone the same, because you never know what someone is going through, and if the way you act like treat them will do like change something in their life for them, you
Yeah.
know. So
Nice.
yeah, I that's why I do, like, have my community like that, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And it's I think being a content creator, streaming, it creates a safe environment for people. You're not out in the public, you can sort
Mhm.
of be more relaxed, you don't have to worry, about, other people listening or, sticking in their input. You're controlling your
Exactly.
environment.
Mhm. It's true. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And now what's, the other piece that I've discovered, meeting all of you, wonderful people, is when you take this on as a full-time job, you don't have the sick days, you don't have vacations. You've got to build this into,
Yeah.
your plan.
Yeah. It can be a little nerve-wracking sometimes because if you get sick, you're like, "Oh, I need to take off." Like, I got COVID and I was out of, streaming for, like, 3 weeks because it
Yeah,
was that bad, and it's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't get sick days. Like, what is this gonna do, and how's it gonna hurt my channel?" You do worry about that stuff, but
yeah,
there's something about the Tarkov community. They're very supportive and they do come back, so,
yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
good. Now, and this that's one other aspect of the community is I've just the generosity and the charity that you see everybody come together and help out with the different causes. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it definitely is. I personally have not seen a community like Tarkov that does as many charities as they do.
Yeah,
I mean, you could go to other communities and see that they do a charity, but I feel like the Tarkov community does charity streams all the time just to help out people even like going through hard times.
yeah,
So, it's really cool to see. I love it. So,
yeah. Yeah, gamers doing good things. It's who would have thought?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, since you started down this career path, was there a certain moment where it just clicked and you said, "Yeah, I got this. This is my full time gig," or was it something that just built up gradually over time?
So my channel grew very fast out of nowhere. It was something that doesn't normally happen to people. So it was very like, is this really happening type moment for me? And I think I didn't really like understand that it was actually like happening for a few months. Because then once I met Lupo and he wanted to play, I was like, oh, this is like real. Like this is actually happening. Like people like me, they want to know me, they
Yeah,
want to game with me. Like I have all these people that like to watch and support me and just talk to me and be there for me. Like I think it was like about 2 months after I started streaming that I was like, this is the real deal. Like this is what I'm going to be doing. I love it, you know.
excellent,
Yeah.
cool. All
Mhm.
right, so Tarkov. We found out you found it through a friend that got you into it. What was the thing that really hooked you?
You know, it's weird. I always think back. Okay, so there was a point. I was watching my friend's American Dad, and there was a point in the game. I don't know why I remember this. It's always this one part. Where he was in customs in dorms, and he was on the first floor. And he's like all the way back in the first floor, where like all that junk is in front of that door that you can't open.
Yeah,
And he's like, "There's somebody coming in." And he didn't have a good gun. It was like at the beginning of Wipe too.
yeah,
So it was all like kits from scavs or something. And it was really dark. I think it was kind of like closer to nighttime. And he's like, I'm gonna die here. And it was so like intense. Like, I don't know, I was like on the edge of my seat. And the guy comes in and he kills him just in one
yeah,
tap. And he's like, oh my gosh. And then a second guy comes in and he kills that dude. And that excitement, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I want that because like Call of Duty doesn't give that to you. It's just
right.
like, oh, you W key, gun and go, die, keep going. Like, that
Yeah,
was so like intense and exciting. And that's what, for some reason, that clip of him is like instilled in my brain. And that's what I wanted.
yeah.
So, yeah.
And now, what has been the hardest thing to learn about this game for you?
Hardest thing to learn. I mean, maybe the PvP.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I think this was like my second wipe. It was probably my second wipe. So there was this one day, I don't know what happened, but I was always very scared to PvP. Like,
yeah,
because I wasn't good at it. But I mean, no one is at the beginning of playing Tarkov, you know? And I always watched, people W key and like get kills. And I'm like, man, I really want to do that. And I think it was also another thing of maybe losing my gear, maybe a little bit of gear
Yeah.
fear, but I never really had gear fear just because like people that played it told me don't care about your gear. So I always wore the best stuff, but
Yeah.
I was also kind of scared to push people at the same time. So I just remember there was this one day and I remember the exact moment I was in dorms and there was a three-man
Yeah.
and I was just standing in a room because I was way too scared to move. And I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore. And I said it to my stream. I was like, I for now on, right now, at this moment, I'm gonna push people. I'm not gonna be scared. And if I die, I just die.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And so that moment I pushed them and I killed them all. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually do this. And so from that moment on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna push people and kill them because that before that, that was probably the hardest thing I had was
Yeah.
PvP.
Oh, man. So now for somebody who's picking up this game the first time, they're jumping into this new wipe, what is some advice you'd give them?
A new wipe being brand new, honestly, I feel like a new wipe is really tough for new players at the beginning. If it's like in the middle or at the end, I think it's
Yeah.
a little bit easier, but even at the beginning, I definitely recommend scabbing because scabbing is where you will probably learn your maps the most. Not as a PMC, because as a PMC, you're going in and you're probably dying like 5 minutes in the raid, and then you didn't even get to explore the map.
Yeah.
So I personally learned my maps the most doing scavs or doing offline.
Yeah.
And offline mode is probably like one of your best options if you're not too familiar with things of like how guns shoot because you can go in and turn on AI and
Yeah.
use the guns and stuff. That's personally how I got better at PvP. I would go on labs a few hours a day off stream and I would
Yeah.
practice shooting. I would put it on horde mode so everything would be crazy and running at you. And that's actually something Sigma taught me to do offline raids on labs. And so that is how I learned how to use certain guns and my
Yeah.
aim and also like changing my senses and my DPI and my mouse so it knows like just adapts to like what I'm good with.
Yeah.
Um but that's probably what I would recommend. Don't worry about your gear. It's going to happen. Wipes happen. It's going to leave your inventory anyways, so why not try to use it and maybe you'll live with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, scabbing offline, don't have gear fear.
Cool. And it's so much better now that we have online or offline co-op too. So now you
Oh
can
yeah.
oh my
It's
god, yes.
so much better. Yeah, and that's actually I was actually telling my chat, I think like 2 days ago, if as a new player, this is actually a really great option because I didn't have this. I couldn't just go and PvP my friends to get better at PvP or anything. But now it's like you're new. Oh, let me PvP my friends and I won't lose any of my gear and I can learn how the game works, how to peek people, how to fight in certain situations. And I love that. I think that's amazing because I didn't have that.
Oh no, yeah.
I had it the hard way. So,
Yeah. No, yeah, we had to we couldn't practice techniques or anything like that, or just
no.
yeah, it's crazy. Now you have, this offline co-op, which is it's just opening up the door for so many different things you can do.
Yeah. That's great.
Absolutely. So now, do you prefer to run solo or with a team?
I prefer solo
Yeah.
still. Now, I don't know if that's because I started playing Tarkov solo, um, but there's something about solo that is just sometimes really nice. Um, when you kill a five-man by yourself, it's very rewarding. It makes you
Yes.
feel like, oh my gosh, I don't completely suck at this game all the time type stuff. But it's also playing solo is a lot easier to talk to your chat too. When I
Hmm.
tend to be in a group, I ignore them more,
Yeah.
which I feel bad. But I do like to play with people. I just maybe a duo,
Yeah.
maybe a trio. I just it's too overwhelming. I don't know if it's like my ADHD. I can't like it's like overstimulation of the brain and I go, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, with a 5 man, it's crazy. You've got too many things to keep track of. And I think, what this game shows us as humans is we are awful at communicating. You've got 5 people saying, "Where am I? I'm over here. Is that you?" And it's just,
yeah.
chaos
Yep.
ensues.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Now, and you were just talking about, when you play with others on stream, it's like you kind of like worry, you don't not worried about chat, but you like feel like you're being left out. And I had, Deadly on one time, and he talks about, he's mainly a solo gamer, but when
Mhm.
he does play with other people, he lets chat know, "Hey, chat, today's a special day. I'm playing with Jesse or whoever, and I'm going to be more or less focused on him. And then tomorrow
Mhm.
we'll be back with, just our normal day-to-day thing."
Yeah, I do apologize to chat. I'm like, "Hey, I'm playing with this person today, so I won't be interacting as much. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. So if there's something I missed, just yell at me, you know?"
Yeah.
So,
And then to add on to, you say you enjoy playing, solo on stream. I had Pestily once describe, Tarkov as saying it's the best game to stream because you have,
mhm.
the pregame where you're, setting up, building out your character. Then while you're going into raid, you've got that interaction. While you're
Yeah,
in the game, then it's sort of like your focus. And then when you come out, you've got, more time to interact with chat.
exactly. Yeah, I do agree it is the best game to stream for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So now your streamer item. What is the
Yeah.
story behind the streamer item? So it's the four-leaf clover, correct?
Yes.
The keychain?
So the the thought about behind that is obviously I'm part Irish.
Yep.
Um, I have not lived there, but my background is Irish. I have red hair. Um, but for some reason, I don't know what it is about my RNG in the game. It
Yep.
is literally insane. Like, you give me an item, I will probably find it. I don't know what it is. Maybe BSG just loves me that much that I get like extra RNG. I don't know. But so when I was thinking about it, I'm like, what is something that everyone knows me about? My RNG, my loot luck is just like like nobody else's. I was like, dude, I'm Irish. I could do like four-leaf clover because it's lucky. And so I was like, okay, well, what would like a four-leaf clover, but how would I incorporate that in? I'm like,
Yeah.
I want it to be something that people want to use. Like, you know, I don't want it to be just like something that you find and it's like, oh, I'll just put this in here for Kappa and not use it. But I've had a lot of people, since you can put keys in it, they're like, I use it at the beginning of wipe. It's great. It's like perfect for beginning of wipe. So yeah, that's why I thought of the keychain. I was like, I can do a four-leaf clover keychain. This will be awesome.
Oh,
So
that's
that's how that
fantastic.
came about.
Nice. And now when did you have any input onto the design of it, or they came back with some, "Hey, how does this look?" And
They asked me for examples, but they designed it.
so now what's your take on the new wipe?
The new wipe, I'm having so much fun playing streets. It's been a little buggy, but that's to be expected.
Yes.
Like it is what it is. That's how all games go on a new map or new game. But it's been fun. I've been kind of wrecking people on streets, not gonna lie. It's been feeling great. I yesterday I went on like a 10 win streak of
Holy
just
crap.
killing the whole lobby, so that was pretty fun. And then, I go and die to a Mosin kid to the Thorax. It just happens. But
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying streets. It's been my go-to for PvP for
Yeah.
sure.
Nice. And now what's your
Yeah.
early wipe setup? What's your go-to, your gun you like to roll with? What's the early armor you like to run?
Armor, whatever I find. Okay, so honestly what I normally do is I actually normally run a Mosin. This wipe has been a little different just because I want to play streets, but
Yeah.
normally I run a Mosin for like the first whatever how many it takes me to get like to level 4 or 5 sniper. That's normally all I run, and normally, sometimes I just run it without armor.
Yeah.
So that's what I normally do, but this wipe, I've taken a different approach, and I've used a lot of AKs.
Hmm.
SKS, dude, there is something about the SKS right now. It is I think they kinda I don't know. They've done something to, like, hit register, I feel like, because, I don't know, people are dying a lot easier, especially
Yeah.
with 855. I've been using the MDR, the,
Nice.
556 MDR, so that's been slapping people too.
Nice. And now, how do you approach wipe from a quest standpoint? Are you running to get all the quests knocked out, or are you just going in there for the PvP engagement?
Okay, so normally I do a run to Kappa. Normally I push myself to be like one of the first ones to get Kappa. This wipe, I'm not. I just don't care because I think in the past I cared too much what people might have thought of me, and this
Yeah.
wipe I'm just like, you know what? I know what abilities I have. I know what I can do. I've done it in the past. There's no reason why I need to push my body to the limit
Right.
just to prove something to someone that it just doesn't even matter. Like, it's just a kappa. It doesn't mean you're good at the game
Right.
anyways.
Yep.
And
True.
so I'm kind of just taking it slow right now, compared to previous ones. But I definitely recommend, like, if you're trying to quest, scavving is really good to get quest items.
Yeah.
Normally at the beginning, what I do is I do a scav before I do a PMC. So I go do a scav, and I normally try to find all of my salabas on woods at the medical camp,
Yeah.
and then I'll go and do a PMC. But what I do is I inspect everything at my traders. So then I get level 2, and then I can do Jaeger. So then my first raid as a PMC will also be on woods to go get the letter to unlock Jaeger.
Yeah.
And then I buy the MP133 shotguns as soon as I get Jaeger, because now, chat, all of the MP133s are sold out within one
Mhm.
second. So that is what you guys should do if
Absolutely.
you need those shotguns.
And now, after you've been playing this so many wipes, do you still get that adrenaline rush? And what is it different than, what it used to be?
No, it's still the same. I
Yeah.
still get the adrenaline rush. It's weird because I don't get it every time. It's just in certain wipes. It's just in certain fights. I don't know what it is. Like, sometimes I'll be completely fine. Like, I'll kill a 3-man and,
Yeah.
like, not even phase. And then there's other times where I get the adrenaline rush. I'm shaking, and it's just one person. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what was that about? So it definitely does happen at least a few times a stream, and
Yeah.
the jump scares still happen. That does not change. That will forever be something.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, this game, there's something special about this game. You no encounter is ever really the same, and one encounter could last 45 minutes or 40 minutes, just cat and mouse around a large map.
Yeah. So, like, right now, streets, there's so many people on it. I was telling you, um, I'm literally going, and I don't know what it is about the scav players too. There are so many scav players.
Yeah.
And so I'll, like, kill like 3 to 5 people, and then I'll kill like 10 scav players. And by the time I'm done PvPing, the raid's like 7 minutes left. I'm like, I didn't get to do my quest. So, it's okay, but I love the PvP. Like, it is the best on streets right now for sure. So I've
Yeah.
I've been having fun.
Nice. And now, when you come into a new wipe, what quest do you not look forward to? Like, oh god, that quest is gonna kill me.
The quests I don't look forward to. I feel like this is a favorite. Capturing outposts.
Yes. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, that's a
That's a
fun
tough one.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be changed this time. And now, how about your favorite quest? What one do you look forward to unlocking the most?
My favorite one. Okay, this is probably gonna be like some people gonna be like, huh? Shooterborn in Heaven.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what it is. I love sniping. Sniping is like my favorite thing to do in Tarkov. and just getting that kill, the feeling you get when you complete a map, it is one of the best feelings ever. So, yeah, there's something about sniping that I just love in
Yeah,
Tarkov.
absolutely. Yeah, nothing feels good. Nothing feels better than when you get that, long range kill and that
Yeah,
notification that, yeah, completed, this map is done. It's like, all right, cool.
exactly.
Absolutely. And now from a boss's standpoint, which boss, is sort of like your nemesis? He just got your number.
Hmm. I wanna say Sanitar.
Yeah?
Yeah. Last swipe, he killed me in some ways that I didn't think was possible, but he proved me wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sanitar is very weird because Sanitar is either very like predictable or not predictable. It's like, oh, I just killed him. That was easy. And then other times it's like you peek a little tiny hole in the wall or something, and you just
Yeah.
got head eyes, and you're like, I'm sorry, Sanny. What happened to you? So yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably my nemesis for sure.
All right. And how about your favorite map? What is your favorite map out of, all these great maps they've designed and let us play on?
Oh, okay. I've got to say my new favorite map is Streets.
Nice.
It's got to be Streets.
Yeah.
Before it was Woods and Customs because
Hmm.
Woods for sniping, Customs just because overall the PvP is just some of the best PvP.
Yeah.
But Streets, it kind of has it all. You can snipe, you can PvP close. It's great. I love it.
Nice.
And the
Yeah.
loot's nice too.
And they just did such a great job with it.
They did. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And now when you're rolling with other people, who's the crew that you roll with mainly?
Um, it's very I don't know. I don't have like one person I like really play with. Um, I mean, I guess the main people I probably would play with right now. I mean, Sigma's been a little bit busy, so but I used to play with her a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll still play, but just during the busy times when like evasion and everything. Probably not as much. I play with Gibbon.
Yeah.
I play with Trey. Um, I don't really. I play a lot of solos, but Gibbon does get to game with me a lot just because he likes to annoy me. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully he's not watching this. No, I'm kidding. I love
Oh,
him.
I'm sure he is. When he
Um,
was on the podcast, he called you out to come on the Tarducks podcast. And man, that
yeah,
guy is so funny. Oh, what a big heart
yeah.
he has. Yeah.
Gibbon is awesome. I love him. We give each other crap all the time.
Yeah.
So I had to give him some now. So
See, the fact that you name so many people just it's that's the really cool thing about this community. The Tarkov
hmm
community is like, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or you're an established, everybody plays well together.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, they definitely do. I was kind of scared to ever ask like people like newer like I was new. Like I was scared to ask them because I was new like to game, but people
Yeah.
are very open and accepting um other new streamers to game with them. I like to play solo.
Yeah.
But if there you know what? If there is one person that I actually do game with, but normally it's off stream because we stream at different times, is Blueberry Gabby.
Okay.
She's a really good friend of mine too, but it's just not on stream because schedules
Yeah.
are just flip flops. So
Yeah, that was actually going to be something I was going to ask you. Who's, somebody flying under the radar that people should check out? So, Blueberry Gabby.
yeah, she has been a long supporter of mine, and um, one day I told her I was like, "You need to stream. Like, you're really good at this game. I don't know why you don't stream it." And she did, and she's been killing it ever since. She's great.
Nice. So now with Arena, we've gotten some, screenshots being dropped. I got to think that's something that's going to be right up your alley.
Oh, dude, I am so excited. When I saw those screenshots, I was like, oh, this was made for me. Because, I love the whole aspect of how Tarkov is run. But I also like the matches how, in Call of Duty, like, search and destroy,
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Oh, this is literally, like, the best thing ever." Like, this is gonna be I feel like it's gonna be bigger than, like, Call of Duty in that way, because
yeah,
it's best of both worlds. But I definitely think that I feel like Tarkov is gonna do it way better implementing, like, matches and stuff for
yeah.
sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. So now, when you disconnect, you're signing off for the day.
Mhm.
What's life away from the computer? What are some of the things you enjoy to do?
Away from the computer. Honestly, as soon as I get off, I do check like my emails, I upload my videos so my editor can do things. Um, Sometimes like that couch behind me, I just lay down and I'm like, that was a good day. And sometimes I fall asleep for like a half an hour or something and
Yeah,
I'm like, because it's tiring. But normally I'll just like go up, see what my parents are
yeah,
doing. Um, See if they're doing anything for dinner or if I can, like, get them dinner or something, so I don't know. I'm very relaxed type person, but you know how, like, you were asking me about, like, watching movies?
yeah.
I really don't watch movies after stream because I've been, like, looking at a screen all day.
Right.
I literally just lay in silence sometimes.
Yeah. No, I had a couple of people on. They do the same thing. Like they had kids, and they say, and the way their system is set up is like, the wife knows that when he disconnects, keep the kids out for an hour. He just needs quiet because
Mhm.
just yeah, you need to disconnect
Yeah,
and
that's
yeah,
true.
absolutely. So now, any plans or goals for this year that you're looking forward to?
Hmm. I don't know. I haven't really made any plans yet, only because of the unknown of all the quests and what's going on in Tarkov.
Yeah,
So I think I'm just playing this wipe by ear,
yeah,
and then maybe next wipe it will change. I don't really know. I'm kind of curious. I have a theory that I feel like maybe this swipe is gonna be longer than the last one, but
yeah,
I don't know. I could be wrong, but just because I feel like there's a lot of quests we don't know about. So, I don't
yeah.
know. We'll see. I'm kind of curious if Kappa is still level 55. So,
I'm sure
I'm
somebody will be racing that's the race right now.
yeah, I
Somebody's
mean
gonna
people
figure
are
that out.
racing it this year. I'm not doing that, but I don't know. It seems kind of like if there's really this many new quests, I question if it is level 55
Yeah,
because you wouldn't be able to do all the quests, I feel like, before level 55. But maybe, I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong because there definitely seems to be a lot more quests.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll see.
something I think BSG does really well is just, hide a lot of stuff from us, and then
Mhm.
as things progress, we get these, sort of videos. They do such a good job using social media to tie things in with the game, and that's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, that's like yesterday me and Pest were trying to figure out that one quest and Pest is like messaging him, "Can I have a hint?" And it's just so funny because it was so much fun. I'm like, "Where did you look? Did you look here? Did you look there? Like where is this item?" And it's exciting to like not really know how to do a quest, but like trying to figure it out. It's like I don't know. It's almost like I want to stream even longer because it's like so exciting to figure that out and not just know how to do it?
Right. Yep. Absolutely. So now,
Yeah.
did you make it to TwitchCon this year, or?
I did. I did actually, which it was a little rough because I actually got sick
No, no.
before TwitchCon. It wasn't COVID, thank God,
Yeah,
so I was still allowed to go and meet people, but I
yeah.
definitely was trying to make sure I kept my distance because I didn't wanna make anyone sick, but apparently everyone else got COVID, so maybe because I was sick, I kinda lucked out on not getting COVID, I don't really know, but at least I can say I didn't give them
That's
COVID.
right. Yes. Yeah. A lot of people got
So
sick, but it was
Yeah.
really neat to see all the pictures that how, all the Tarkov community got together and just,
Mhm.
yeah, hung out.
Yeah. It was great. That was the first time I got to meet everybody.
Yeah.
So it was very it was strange. And like people asking for like my autograph or picture, I was just like, you don't want that? Like I'm just a normal person. Like this is weird.
Yeah,
It's I guess like when you're behind a camera and then you go to something like that, it just like you don't realize that like people look up to you, you
yeah,
know? And then it like hits you and you're like, well damn, like people look up to me. Like that's really cool, you know?
yeah.
Because you
Yeah,
don't feel
it's
like you're special or anything. You just feel like a normal person.
right. Yeah. Yeah, I had Jesse on the last pod, and that was like, I asked him, you went to TwitchCon and you had you had sort of 2 versions. You had, TwitchCon as a fan, seeing all these people that you
Mhm.
watch, and then TwitchCon as
Yeah.
the celebrities. Like, you turn this way and there's, XYZ stream, "Hey, yeah, I love your stuff." And then you turn
Mhm.
this way and there's like your community. It's like, "Hey, yeah."
Yeah, it's so cool. Because I got to meet people that I looked up to, and they're like, "Wait, what? You want to meet me?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like what? So it was just it like went back and forth, and then other people that I got to meet that like was my fans. Like it was just so cool.
Yeah.
Just a crazy experience. It really just made you like rethink things. You're just like, you think you're not really making a difference in people's lives,
Yeah.
but you actually are. And it makes you feel really good that you're like doing something,
Yeah.
good in the world. So that was definitely an eye opener going to TwitchCon, just experiencing all that because I'm just like this one little person that is just, I didn't know like I I did things like that.
Yeah. Well, the
So,
the cool thing is, is that people when they're done their day, their normal day-to-day job or whatnot, they hop on and they disconnect and they, tune into their favorite content creators, stream and be a part of their community. And it's
mhm.
an escape for them.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. So we're getting to the end of this podcast. Is there anything you want to, where people should check you out?
Gingy on Twitch.
There we go.
Um, Also, my merch is coming out soon, so if you want a Gingy Keychain, we're making the Gingy Keychain, so you can look out for that if that's something that you guys are interested in.
Nice. That is
Yeah.
awesome. And now, so at the end of all of my podcasts, I ask the guests to shout out somebody that they should come on the podcast next. Who are you
Mhm.
throwing under the bus that should come on the Tarducks?
I think that you should have Blueberry Gabby.
All
I
right,
think that would be amazing. She's awesome. I love her personality. She's just all together wholesome and loves people, so
excellent. All right, we'll get her
yeah.
on the pod. And I guess thank you so much for doing this. Really great to meet you and hear your story.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was fun. Really awesome.